Hi, everybody. Hold on. Is my mic on? Yes. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to this corner of my room. Last time we were together, we talked about my monkey movies, my ape movies. And today we've got a much bigger stack of movies that we're going to talk about, much bigger than this. If you look right here, this shelf and this shelf are all the movies we're going to be talking about today, because today this could be like the biggest genre collection that I have, like the biggest amount of a single type of movie, I guess you would say. And I guess without further ado, we're going to be talking about Westerns today. Westerns and like cowboy themed, but not necessarily a proper Western, you know? Or just anything that kind of, I don't think I look good in this hat, but I'm going to stick to it. So Westerns, Gold Rush era, Pioneer era, that sort of thing. 'Cause if there's one thing you should know about me, I like monkeys, I like horror movies, and I like Westerns. So without further ado, let's get the show on the road, like for real this time. Let's start, where are we going to start? Let's start here. This is a box set that I got, I guess I got it at Goodwill, the sticker's still on here. It's just a collector's choice History Channel, 4 different specials all about the Real West, the best of the Real West, hosted by Kenny Rogers, and he's looking like Colonel Sanders right there. There he is. And we've got one on the Battle of the Alamo, Texas Rangers, Sitting Bull, and Wild Women. Let's see if I can... They're not coming out. They're stuck in there good. I just want to look at the tapes. Come on. These are really stuck in there. Okay. Okay. So we got one. This is what it looks like. There's the Wild Women. Approximately 50 minutes long. Best of the Real West, Volume 2. This one's got the label printed directly onto the plastic. It's got the History Channel logo on it. It's a nice set, and I am excited to watch them and learn more about the real Wild West. We're going to stick these here, I think. I think that's a good spot for them. Next, let's talk about this one. I think we'll start with the ones I haven't watched yet, and then we will move to the ones that I have. This one is, I bought it just because the cover looks beautiful. Look at that gorgeous art. I'm not really a big John Wayne fan, but like I said, this cover, I thought it was really cool, and I wanted to watch. I wanted to see what it was all about. But I haven't done that yet. But let's take a look at the label, shall we? This is a sticker label. It's one of these bad boys where the font doesn't match the beautiful official font. It's got the side sticker, Warner Brothers Home Video. Not rated, so you can show this to anybody you want, and you won't get in trouble for it. We'll stick that there too. Next, another one I have not seen. Return of the Magnificent Seven. I believe I've seen the Magnificent Seven, but I have not seen the Return. I don't know why they've come back. I don't know if they're angry. I don't know if they're sad. But there is an explosion, and it's got this guy, Yule. What a cool name too, Yule. He was in Westworld, which I wish I had on VHS, but I don't. It's got a holographic sticker. And here's something real cute. If you look right here on the side, somebody made their own sticker and just taped it on there with some Scotch tape. And if you notice, they didn't even label it right. This is the return of the Magnificent Seven, and they said the Magnificent Seven. So, little stuff like this is what I personally really look for in VHS tapes. That one's not going to go there, so we'll stick them right here. Next, another one I haven't seen. And yet, I said I don't like John Wayne, but I bought this one. McLintlock. Restored from the original negative. Authorized by the estate of John Wayne. I got this one, again, because I like the cover. Look, it's got a screaming woman on it. I got nothing to say. It's not rated. It's got the monkey primate ape. No, it doesn't. MPI. I don't know what that stands for. Forget I said anything about monkey primate ape. Don't worry about it. But there's that one. Don't know what it's about. Couldn't tell you. I'll find out one day when I watch it, you know. Here's an interesting one. Again, I haven't seen this, but I suspect that this particular copy was from a local video store. And usually I say that because it'll have like a, let's see if this one has it. Yeah, look. It's got a barcode on it. And also, it's just clearly been really well loved. Look at this case here. And that's another thing that I really look for when I am collecting tapes. I love ones that have been at video stores specifically. And this case I find very intriguing. It confused me the first time I saw it. But it's closed on all ends. So back in its heyday when it was brand spanking new, this was in fact completely covered. But the bottom also has a flap that you open up every time you want to watch the movie. And I guess I haven't shown you what movie this is. This is Mountain Men. It's about mountain men. And I haven't watched it. I'm really excited to watch it. But a fun fact about me in this movie, I bought this because I thought, oh, mountain men. I like mountain men. I'll probably like this movie. So I bought it and I put it on my shelf and I forgot about it. And then maybe a couple weeks later, I was at a different thrift store and I found it on DVD and I picked it up and I didn't recognize it. Somehow I didn't recognize it. And I bought it again because I thought it was a different movie. And then I thought I was going to like it. So maybe I will. I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. I think we've only got one left that I have not ever seen before, and that is this big boy right here. How the West Was Won. Here it is. Double. It's 2 hours, 42 minutes, color, 1962, digital video transfer, and it's got a fun fact on the back. It's talking about how like every day they had to feed all of their horses 10 tons of hay and 1,000 pounds of grain because they had 600 horses in this movie. So I'm guessing the West was won with 600 horses or something. That makes sense to me. Next movies on our list, not necessarily Western themed, but during those cowboy times, there was locomotives and trains running around all the time. So I've got this 3-part VHS set, volume 1, 2, and 3, about running a steam locomotive. Live the dream of every railroad buff. What else? It says that on every single one. This is freight locomotive. This is passenger locomotive. And this one is just running a steam locomotive. So I'm really excited to watch these and learn how to drive me a train. Because you never know when you're going to be on a train, a steam locomotive specifically, and the train conductor and the engineer, they both die at the same time, and you have to drive the train. You never know when that's going to happen. So I will be prepared. Because I've got the 3-volume set. And I'm very excited about that one. I will tell you that right this moment. Another good one, not necessarily a Western, but Anne of Green Gables, 2-video set, printed directly onto the plastic. I believe this specific release was the first time it had ever been released. It says right here on the bottom. Digitally restored, never before released, Emmy Award winning, and the winner of over 60 international awards. If you haven't seen Anne of Green Gables, I do recommend it. It's very cute, classic for all times. I don't know what I'm saying, but Anne of Green Gables is very good. Next. Should I talk about some proper Westerns? No, we're not going to talk about proper Westerns yet. We're going to talk about this country line dancing 2-part tape set. You can learn Achy Breaky. You can learn Boot, Scoot, and Boogie. Sugartown, 6-shooter, Waltz Across Texas. The Tush Push. Don't forget the Tush Push. Electric Slide. Flying 8. Ski Bumpus, and the Las Vegas Strut. And I haven't watched this one yet, and I'll tell you why. I bought it, and I was going to learn how to country line dance. But then the county fair came around, and I went to the county fair, and one night they had a country line dancing lesson. So I learned all of these dances at the county fair. So I didn't need to watch it. However, it's been a year since then, and I have forgotten it, so maybe I should watch it and refresh my memory, huh? Oh, now we're going to talk about one of my absolute favorites, not just favorite Westerns, but favorite movies of all times, favorite musicals. I cannot recommend this movie enough. Paint Your Wagon. It's not a good musical. I'd say 90% of the songs in it are kind of garbage. However, I love this movie so much. It's about how do I describe this movie without giving away why it's so cool? Because I would like it to just sort of be a surprise for you. Well, it takes place during the gold rush, and Clint Eastwood and this guy, they become like mining partners, right? And there's a boom town, and then there's a bunch of dirty prospectors and all that stuff, and then a woman comes, and they all get all dressed up. And it's a musical. And then I don't know how to explain this movie. I do not know how to explain this movie without explaining exactly what it is. And I think if I explain exactly what it is, it spoils all of the fun, because half of the fun is the surprise, you know? So just watch Paint Your Wagon. If you got, how long is it? It's pretty long because it's got 2 tapes. It's like the length of a full-blown stage production, complete with an intermission. So if you got time for that, and you're in the mood for like some dirty prospectors rolling around in the mud and drinking too much and being kind of rude to women, this is the movie for you. And if you like the song They Call the Wind Mariah, that's from this. And it's like the only good song. Okay, there's maybe like 2 good songs and the rest are not very good. One of them, they sing about cans of beans, you know? Out the window go the beans, out the window go the beans, out the window go the beans. And that's the quality of most of the songs, you know? Look at that. Don't you want to watch this movie? Oh, and one more thing. The label fell off. Hold on. This is such an old video that the poor little label just dried up and gave up the ghost. So, like I said, Clint Eastwood is in it, and his character sings, but the man Clint Eastwood does not. He is sadly dubbed over, which I do think is a darn shame. I would love to hear that man sing. I don't think he can. But it certainly wouldn't make the movie any worse. Let's just put it that way. Let's talk about another musical. Oklahoma, when the wind comes sweeping down the rains. Still got its proof of purchase on it. Now this movie is one of my, not childhood favorites. I watched this a lot in high school. That was when this movie was big for me personally. I had the musical soundtrack, I had the movie soundtrack, I had the stage production soundtrack, and I would dance around my room to these songs all the time, and I would play it out by myself. Because I didn't have a whole lot of friends in high school, but I had Oklahoma, and I watched this all the time. So, that being said, if you're in the mood for a goofy little musical with better music than Paint Your Wagon, you might like this. I will say it's very cheesy, almost annoying, like it's very sugary sweet, I guess is a good way to put it. If you haven't seen it, that might not make a lot of sense, but if you have seen it, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Oklahoma with an exclamation mark. Very excellent movie. I do recommend it. We're sticking with the music theme. I've got this in the Hank Williams tradition. It's just a collection of performances by Hank Williams, the famous country singer star. Shows how Hank went from life to legend. That's what it says right on the box. And look at all of those songs on there. Haven't watched this one yet, but I am excited to. We'll stick that with the other musicals. You can see this one. I put it in this section because Woody's a cowboy. He's got a snake in his boot. So this will be in the cowboy, the western section. I don't need to talk about Toy Story. I don't think it's going to fit up here. I got it. Okay, next. Let's talk about these. I've got 2 copies for a few dollars more, but you might notice a couple differences. This one is the MGM home video release. It's got a little bit of a holographic to it, and the sides are different. The backs are different. They are, in fact, the same movie, though. And the run times are the same. So I guess they are exactly the same. It's just the covers are different. And I bought this one online, and I would like to take a second. If you are in the market for VHS tapes and you can't find them at your local thrift stores, because I know in some areas collecting tapes is much more popular than, say, out in the middle of nowhere where I am. So if you're looking for something specific, I would recommend going here to Decent New York. I think I found them on Etsy. They've got a good selection and they've got decent enough prices. Some, like, $5 is about the average, depending on the video, of course. I like them a lot, so I'm going to recommend them. I will also recommend these movies. Clint Eastwood is he's a good cowboy. He's a good actor. Maybe not so great a man, but he makes a darn good Western. Which brings us to perhaps the best Western of all time. Some might say it's the best. I would. It's certainly my favorite, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's a classic. I don't think I need to talk about it. Other people are more equipped to say smarter things. All I'll say is, hooey! I like this movie. It is so much fun, and if you haven't seen it, don't look anything up. Just put it on and enjoy the ride. That's sort of what I did. The first time I saw it, I knew absolutely nothing about the plot. And it just takes you on the most wonderful cowboy adventure that there ever was. So I highly, highly, highly recommend this. I can't recommend it enough. I'm going to have to move all the way down here. We are taking up so much space. Because I want to keep these together. Maybe I'll move this here. And move that there, and the musicals together. And then I can move these here. Okay, next. Another one that I've bought multiples of because it, again, is one of my favorite movies. This is Charlie Chaplin's The Gold Rush. I've got 2 different copies, and the interesting thing about these is it's got some discrepancies in the facts on the back. So this one says it's 82 minutes long and was released in 1925. This one is 72 minutes long and was released in, says 1924. Which one's the truth? I'm sure you could look it up, but I don't care to. This is one of my childhood favorites. I rented this a lot as a kid because I love Charlie Chaplin. I love those silent comedies. And I think this one is just the best. Again, it's The Gold Rush. I have a very soft spot in my heart for The Gold Rush. It was my favorite subject in elementary school. So naturally, a silent film era comedy taking place during the Gold Rush, of course I'm gonna love it. And I think the fact that I own 2 copies of the same movie is proof of that, you know? What can I say about it? What can I say about it except you should just watch it. It's really good. It's not very long. This one says it's 82 minutes. This one says it's 72 minutes. So give or take 10 minutes. This is an excellent thing just to put on. If you want something kind of sad, very heartfelt, but also insanely hilarious, I recommend The Gold Rush. I mean, look at that guy. Look at this. Don't you want to watch that? This guy's trying to kill Charlie Chaplin. And there's an incredible sequence when they're like in a snowstorm in this log cabin on the edge of a cliff, and the snowstorm is blowing the cabin almost off of the cliff, and then the door opens and they almost fly off the cliff. What more do I need to say about The Gold Rush? 10 out of 10, 5 gold stars, Gold Rush, one of my favorite movies. And I'll probably talk about it in greater detail. Oh no, you can see these. It's been spoiled this whole time. Okay, we'll talk about City Slickers 1 and 2. I love these movies. City Slickers 2 was another childhood favorite of mine. I looking back at it, that is kind of a weird movie for a child to, like, I wasn't even a middle schooler or a teen. I was like in elementary school, renting this movie all the time because I wanted to watch Billy Crystal and Friends hunt for gold. Again, Gold Rush. And City Slickers 1, out of the two, I like this one better now. Because this one is very, very cartoony. You know, the classic, the sequel's gotta be bigger and better. And for City Slickers, Legend of Curly's Gold, they went sillier with it. And as a kid, of course, that makes for a much more entertaining film. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. But I am saying that City Slickers 1 is at least an attempt at like a heartfelt look at a man who is, you know, he's aging a little bit. He's losing his love for life. He's very depressed. You know, his whole life has flashed by him and he hasn't done anything with his life, you know. So he goes on a fun cowboy trip with his friends and, you know, rekindles these relationships with his friends and finds himself out on the trail, you know. And it's just, it's kind of a wonderful, heartfelt exploration of whatever it is I'm trying to say. And the cool thing about this specific copy that I own, you can sort of see right here, there's a little sticker. Somebody loved this movie so much that they thought it was important enough to put their name and address on it so that when they lent it out to their friends and family that they would get it back. However, it ended up in a thrift store and I bought it. So, and now I've got both of them. And these still remain some of my favorite movies. Because they've got that special place in my heart. And I think we all have our childhood movies that... Oh no, Curly's gold fell down. You know what I'm talking about. I don't need to explain myself why I like City Slickers 1 and 2 so much. I'm going to put them right here next to For a Few Dollars More and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Oh my God. Curly. Where'd he go? These movies are giving me a hard time. We are almost done. We've been talking almost 30 minutes about Westerns and we've only got 3 left. And they're all more movies from my childhood that I watched a lot. Don't look at my hair. You may have noticed that a lot of these movies that I'm talking about are movies from my childhood that I enjoyed quite a lot. And I think they still hold up. But these are our last 3, so let's get down to them. First, we're going to start with Laurel and Hardy, Way Out West. Another one of my absolute favorites. This one is about Laurel and Hardy. The back says it's one of their best films, and I have to agree with that. This one is really good. It's really funny. It's got some really good visual gags. And the story is a lot of fun too. It's got a little bit of like con artists and a little bit of a scam going on. Basically, it's about Laurel and Hardy have been given the deed to a prospector's claim in order for them to deliver it to the prospector's daughter so that she can get her inheritance. But the daughter is working at the saloon who's run by a couple of crooks, right? So the owners try to scam Laurel and Hardy into giving them the deed and pretending that they are the daughter. So give it to them. But then they find the real daughter and then they have to get it back. And they do their famous little dance in this one. Can't recommend this one enough either. That one's going right next to the Gold Rush. Next, we've got American Tail, 50 Goes West, another one of my childhood favorites. One that hasn't particularly aged great. It certainly has some very culturally insensitive material in here, so just be aware of that. It's pretty bad. Who was in charge of this? Steven Spielberg. I don't know what you were thinking there, buddy. He wasn't thinking, I think, is the problem. But that aside, it's a good movie. It's got Jimmy Stewart in it, which for the longest time I thought it was an actor doing a really bad Jimmy Stewart impression. But it turns out he was actually just really old. And I don't know if it's... this may have been his final role, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know where I heard that. I don't know why I think that. That might just be a thought that I had, but he is in this, and I don't need to talk about it anymore. American Tail, 50 Goes West is a wonderful time, minus that other stuff. Next, we've got a Patrick Swayze film for you. And this is the last one, and maybe my favorite out of all of them. Out of all of these Westerns, out of all of these movies that I said I rented a lot as a kid, this one was the best and the most influential, and maybe the one I rented the most. And I don't know if anybody is going to know what I'm talking about, but Tall Tale, this is indeed a terrific adventure. This is a Disney film that came out in the early 90s. It's got this kid in it. I don't know if he's been in anything else, but it's got Patrick Swayze. It's got an evil train guy who wants to build a train through farmland, so he's trying to buy up all the farmland. It's a little bit like Home on the Range, the other Disney movie, but this one's better, and it doesn't have talking cows, and it doesn't have, unfortunately, it doesn't have a cattle rustler who yodels, but it does have the plot line of evil guy tries to buy up all the land so he can build a train. But this follows the tale of this kid. What's his name? I don't care. I don't care what his name is. But this little kid, he's trying to save the farm, and he goes on this adventure, and he meets a bunch of American folk heroes, such as Pecos Bill, Paul Bunyan, and of course John Henry. And also that lady, Calamity Jane. He meets them all, and they go on an adventure, and he learns about himself. And the importance of, I don't know, farm. Tall Tale, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. And there you have it. That, my friends, is my entire, all of the Western and Western adjacent VHS tapes that I own. Tall Tale is definitely my favorite. Well, maybe not my favorite. But Tall Tale, if I had to recommend 5, Tall Tale, Paint Your Wagon, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That's 3. Gold Rush. Did I say Gold Rush? Tall Tale, Gold Rush, Paint Your Wagon, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and one more. Heck, Anne of Green Gables. Go watch those 5. Have a wonderful time, and I will see you in the next video.